Hello, hello. Welcome to Midnight Madness. Is it midnight where you are? Welcome to the Meta Mystic Podcast with Midnight Madness. How many more M's can we add to this title now? Mega.
I can add an M.
You can?
My name is Oriah MIRZA.
Good one. And I'll add another one. Riz MIRZA here, psychic medium, trance channel, intuitive empath. Oriah, we call you Lady O, or at least over the years, people have been calling you Lady O. And we never made up these names. You know, my friends call me Riz the Wiz, and my students do. And that started when I was in elementary school, when the kids would copy off of the test, because I was a smart Indian kid who had apparently all the answers, at least to those questions. I try to have some answers to these wide-ranging interdimensional questions that we explore and we dive into on Meta Mystic. You know, we have Psychic Sundays every week where we are having a lot of fun. And if you joined us in October, we were dressed in our costumes and really feeling the spirit of Halloween. And Halloween was last night. And now we are on All Saints Day, which is November 1st.
Wow.
Right? This is when the veil is thinnest. We're in autumn now, and as you can see, you guys like the way the set has changed, thanks to Lady O, of course, bringing more of an autumn feel.
Yeah. I love this time of year. This is it. I mean, if I lived back east, we would be in more snow.
We would already.
Weather and seasonal changes. It's not really quite the same here in Southern California. I'm not complaining about the sun.
Right.
I'll always love the sun. But I do wish I could see the leaves turn and be driving down the street and feel that crisp autumn air. Although it has been getting kind of cold at night. I think we're
once you live in Southern
getting
California,
a little taste of it.
Right. And I grew up in New York City, and it was freezing. I mean, we went through blizzards, digging the car out of snow.
Yeah.
But there's something
do that.
Right? But there's something about, no matter where you are, wherever it is winter or autumn, wherever it is that you are, that is where the days are shorter, the nights are longer, and there's this natural inclination to want to cozy up and to get a blanket at night and maybe, yes, have some pumpkin spice latte. Well, not at night, but have something that's cozy and warm and warms you, because you're spending time in the hearth of the home. You know, when people we're sitting right next to our fireplace over here, but that word hearth is just like the word heart, correct? Mm-hmm. And as a shaman, as a medium, I have always believed that having a source of fire in your home, candles, okay, real flames. I love LED also. We have an LED candle right there, but I do love real flames because it's different. The energy is more powerful when it is really natural, okay? Mm-hmm. And we try to use products that don't have chemicals in them, and there's a scent, right? Yeah. Soy candles and the scent of trees that are in the autumn season. Mm-hmm. But the hearth of the home was the fireplace back in the old days. And that's where the family gathered. And that was a source of heat. That was a place of love and warmth and coziness. And it was where you could feel like you could just throw all your problems into the fire. And one of the first meditations that I teach our students, we teach them that even if you've never meditated before, you can light a candle, sit in the dark, shut off all the electronics, maybe play some very peaceful, slow music, no words, because you don't want to be distracted by lyrical content. You want to be able to just tune into frequency music. And if you go on YouTube, you can find, if you just type into the search box, healing frequency music, you will find hundreds of videos where these sounds go on for 3-4 hours. It's amazing how many people are just uploading this stuff, this content, so that can be shared. And you can do that. And just light that candle and send all of your old, tired thoughts, your things that have upset you and made you anxious and threw you off, and send them into the flame to be neutralized. Okay?
And if you are new to our channel and you're new in general and you've never seen us before, my husband Riz is a psychic medium and Trance Channel. He's also a full-time shaman, and so am I. And I'm also an empath, intuitive. And together we have been leading events and retreats around the world for over a decade, and have helped many, many people find peace and find magic. So tonight is a very special night because Midnight Madness, which is magical, is about Riz and I doing something very special. So what we're going to do tonight is he is going to channel a guide, a spirit guide, and we don't know who he's going to channel. And he doesn't know the question I am going to ask or questions. And I do have some selected. And every time I do, I prepare. And if you're curious about previous shows, please go back and look and see. There's some pretty exciting episodes. I think we've done a couple.
Yeah, you know, Midnight Madness, this is our kind of we call it Midnight Madness because it's just a fun title, and we record it at midnight because that's the time in our house when all the energies have quieted down and the family members are off to bed, and I feel like, and the cats are off to bed, except when we record, they do sometimes show up here, but it's because this is when the quiet time allows us to connect more deeply with the unseen world. And so many of you who watch and send us messages about how you're developing your psychic abilities and understanding that psychic awareness is a very natural human attribute and quality. It is indeed a sense. They call it the sixth sense. And that's because everyone has some degree of psychic ability. Not everyone is meant to be a professional singer, but everyone can learn to sing better than they do now. By the same token, I say not everyone is meant to be a professional psychic or medium, but everyone can become more intuitive than they are now because you do have that innate, natural born capacity, okay? So channeling is the art of a channeler being able to step out of the way and allow the spirit guide to come through. I've channeled dozens and dozens and dozens of ascended masters, people from history, whose essence comes through me, and it is the communication that they choose to bring through. I do not choose who comes through me. These guides have ranged from philosophers, ascended masters that are known in esoteric teachings, deities, people, they refer to them as deities, though they are as real as you and I, and the certain people in history, like I just channeled Edgar Allan Poe in Poe's home. So if you haven't seen that yet, it was just posted on Halloween, where we visited the original home of Poe in the Bronx, New York, where I grew up, and I tell the whole story of that. And he came through and had a beautiful message about life and death and fear and love. So do check that out. Again, this portion of Midnight Madness is called Interview with a Spirit Guide, and we're going to just begin in just a few moments. So get cozy where you are. If you have a candle, go light it, pause this and go light a candle, and come back, and if you can, pull up a blanket and turn the lights low so that you are part of this. Now, I want you to know something. Even if you are watching this like 4 years from now, it doesn't matter, because the energy is timeless. The connection that you can experience is timeless, and this will help increase your own capacity to connect with your guides. So drop in with us. Again, we don't know who's going to come through, but that's part of my life, is just to let go. People say, what do you do for a living? I go, I learn to let go every single day, and I allow the flow to happen. And that's what we're going to do. How are you doing? Are you ready? You got your tea? What are you drinking tonight?
Lemon and honey to offset these like these Santa Ana winds that are so dry and relentless, and we feel like we're just lizards like drying up. It's so dry. I thought New Mexico was dry. I thought Sedona was dry.
Right.
I thought Colorado was dry, but when the
You thought the deserts of India were dry.
Oh my God, there's nothing like the Santa Ana winds. Just suck all the moisture out.
So the Santa Ana winds come every year around this time in Southern California, and it is unbelievable. You're going to find your furniture outside your house, you know, whether it's a chair or literally the umbrella, which is weighted down.
So if you guys hear me cough throughout this segment here and there, I'm going to do my best not to. That's where it's coming from. I even have humidifiers and moisture in the air to try to help. But it is what it is.
Well, I'm going to move this mic a little bit because, you know, they like to lean my body back a little bit when it happens. So
now I just want to let you know, if a guide gets really loud and I start to see we're going into the red, I'm going to adjust the microphone, hopefully.
Yeah, that happens, guys. So
because we don't know sometimes how loud
or how quiet. If they get quiet,
That's
you'll have
true.
to raise the volume.
That's true. There's some guides that are quiet.
They are very quiet.
Yeah.
It feels like a chill night tonight, you know, doesn't it? Doesn't feel like it's going to be somebody who's too, not too loud, but very loud. So I'll see you at the end of it, everyone. Let's start to slow down. Here is the meditation portion. We're going to do that now for a minute. So really don't fidget where you are. Let go. Keep your vital points in your body open. That means your hands not clenched, your legs not crossed, and your face not scrunched. Good. Let's do that now and drop your shoulders. Lengthen your neck a little bit so you're not compressing. Close your eyes now, as I'm doing now as you're watching me. At the count of 3, we're all going to take a deep breath in. You're going to breathe in through your nose, send the air down into your heart and your belly at the same time, filling yourself with light. Hold the breath till I say exhale, upon which you will blow the air out of your mouth, releasing any tension, stagnation, or resistance. Let's do that. Close your eyes now. Drop your shoulders. 1, 2, breathe in. And hold the breath now. Holding the breath as light expanding in your body, your face becoming more relaxed, no tension in your face, and blow it out. Bowing your head. One more time, breathe in. Hold the breath peacefully now, no pressure. Relax your face softly, breathe out. Good. Surround yourself with light. Let this light get bigger and brighter, brighter and bigger, till it fills your room with a beautiful, gentle and strong glow, moving through the walls of your home, bigger than your home and your entire city, your entire country, the entire planet. See the ball of earth swirling in blue, surrounded by light in your mind. As I say this blessing, Great Spirit of Love, thank you for uniting us this moment. As our paths intersect through what we call time and space, all is one, all is now, all is love. Thank you for the blessings of the past, present, and future of life. Thank you for the blessings in disguise as well. Help us to heal, nourish our bodies, minds, and spirits. Help us to help others do the same. Thank you, Spirit Guides, for being here, and I welcome communication in the form of wisdom. As always, I'll see you later. Goodbye. I'm Merlin. As always in magic and light and magic is all there is. Let these words reach you through your own understanding. For your understanding is that comprehension of that which lies under which stands. What stands are the words that you speak. You have come to say that spelling, to then assemble a word through the forms of letters. That is how you spell a word, and that those sentences that you create with intention create spells. And certainly as it has been a time that you have come through, that you are referring to All Hallows Eve, Halloween, and Samhain, along with the other celebrations that all nations, peoples, and tribes have celebrated, for their own elders have passed down the understanding that this is a time, a season of thinning of the realms. There have been those who have reached certain states of enlightenment who feel that there is no veil. We understand this understanding. In one sense, one may say that when they are breaking through their own personal transformations, they say, what was the problem the entire time? There were no blocks. There was nothing stopping me from being that magical being that I am, seeing the magic in all things. And so what were these blocks? What were these conflicts if now I feel in this stage that there were never any? And that is because what was under was what you were perceiving. That means that there was a resistance. The perception was that something was blocking you, something was conflicting you, even if it was versions of yourself that were conflicting within you. And so the battle of the heart versus the mind. Where does one begin to unravel this notion of what is the mind? You must then simplify that which in many ways cannot be articulated by mere language. One must experience infiniteness. No matter how much you study the magical books, and there are many, no matter how many words you read and feel, unless there are experiences which one has gone through, that one makes as a part of their daily existence eternally, that simply means that you take the happiest moments of enlightenment that you have had, for certainly enlightenment is the awareness of the light. Enlightenment. You are becoming aware that all is light. Upon reflection, and without light there can be no reflection, upon reflection of your life you begin to see that those challenging moments, simply put, created the version of yourself that you take pride in today. And that for you to understand this interplay of what you perceive as dark and light, that what you perceive as curses or blessings, one may take that which is a blessing and receive it as a curse. There are those who are in states of distress, who have their loved ones say, "But we bless you, we love you." Let us say the person is suffering from an addiction of some sort, and they are at the lowest point of their emotional experience of life. And at that moment everyone seems an enemy. "I will pray for you. We bless you. We'll have always loved you." These words fall upon deaf ears. In fact, perhaps they are more than deaf ears, for then those words of blessing have been received as a curse. There are some who feel that even a curse can be taken as a blessing, for they feel that if the world is against them or criticizes them, it adds fuel to their fire. That is an understanding of energy that can be then alchemized for your own magical purposes. You are students of energy. That is how you traverse and travel the experience of time. And perhaps that is why we have come at this intersection of moments to be with you. And what is it that you wish to discuss this evening?
I have a topic, and I had several questions regarding this topic, but I narrowed it down and simplified it. So it's down to 2 words, this question. So here's the question. Why violence?
That which you have come to know as violence, the striking physically of one person to another, whether it is through the physical body or the weapons that you have created over time. You also have turned tools into weapons. Your knives were not meant to kill each other, and then they have been turned against each other. Words have become weapons. Even the act of silence can be a form of violence, can it not? What you are referring to, this revolving door of characters that are playing the play of war. If it is not one group versus another, it is another group and another and another. In times of peace in your own society, there have been wars in others. While some were sleeping very peacefully in their beds, others have no beds due to war and violence. These occurrences for you seem to have been since the beginning of time. Your religious books refer to war. You tend to see your religious books as history books, though there is clear evidence of history that precedes your current major religions. And so those people, during archaeological excavations, you see layer after layer through these archaeological excavations, reveal timelines of civilizations. They dig and they shall find a prosperous civilization of art and culture, various tools and innovations that they discover, treasures and artisanal artifacts and such. Then they dig deeper, perhaps another 100 feet, and discover another civilization where there are far more bodies damaged, clearly signs of war and violence, more weapons, less creations. And so they dig deeper, and the series of events seem to repeat themselves, history repeating itself. How far must you dig to find peace? Perhaps you will find, 3 layers, centuries of peace, no evidence of violence. And that is only from your physical archaeological excavations, how you are learning about your history, though you have had oral history. Spiritual individuals in the tribal traditions who were channeling, as you are now, messages from those who have been traveling with you in this adventure of life. Simply put, your soul mates, your spirit brethren, those who have incarnated with you in various lifetimes, who are watching and passing along information to help you piece together your reality. If you are to understand the nature of your existence, you must look at what you are striving for. What you are striving for is a balance. You wish to have a balance in your life, of your work, your relationships, your body, and a certain sense of peace may be considered balance. But does the flower consider the volcano erupting to be an act of balance? For the flower field shall be destroyed by the lava that is emanating from the volcano. You find beauty in the mountain, the volcano, as you find beauty in the flower. Different energies, one more of immense power and grandeur, another of more delicate beauty in the form of a flower. Both are of nature. And so as the mountain spews its lava and turns the field of flowers to ashes, there is a loss of beauty. There is the loss of that life form as you have come to know it. Within nature you are understanding violence. You understand why the lion takes down the zebra. It is frightening to watch for some as an act of violence, though you understand that the lion must eat, and the lion herself shall be taken by another force, whether it is old age or another group of predators who are hungry. You consider that the law of the jungle. You do not like to see it in front of you, but you watch it on your documentaries and your programs, learning about the nature of these natural beasts. In the insect world you see it. Is it violence or is it survival? You see it as survival, for the lion has no other choice. That is their nature, to eat these animals. You accept it. Amongst your own kind as human beings, you do not. And that is an innate understanding. You do not wish to harm one another. You inherently wish to live in peace. There is no infant who wishes to kill another. And so then one must dig deeper, and your question is then asking about the very purpose of this dimension, the purpose of this reality that you refer to as three-dimensional. What reason shall be good enough for you if we tell you, and as we have told you, that your earthly life is a school of creation and love and creation as one? That your life is different than your existence. As we have told you, your life is but a chapter in an endless series of books of your existence, an eternal series. But you are focused on this book, this chapter, this page and paragraph. The words, the spellings, the intonation and intention of these words, how they are received. Even the fonts that you use in your programs, in your computers, you feel them, don't you? Mm-hmm. They are saying the same words, but written in different fonts shall give you a different feeling. There are futuristic fonts. There are old world fonts. There are fonts that are very similar to symbols, and they are there to convey a different emotional experience upon reading the same words. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. And so communication is not limited to the content, but the presentation of the content. In earth, life, it is a very dramatic existence. We refer to it as a psychic drama. That means that you are beyond this physical body. You are playing out roles. You are incarnating and reincarnating, continuing your own spiritual path, as you refer to them as lessons. Teachings, we refer to them as the expansion of yourself. You are here to expand all your experiences that you say happen to you, and experiences you choose. You choose experiences because you wish for expansion. And things so-called happen to you for the same purpose, to expand you. There are moments of constriction before expansion. The phases of nature shall show you this. The phases of the moon disappearing entirely when it is new. One would say that perhaps logically the new moon should be visible, for it is new and fresh, and that over time it should diminish in light and leave only a sliver. Isn't that the way life goes? You are born in the fullness of being an infant, flexible in body, mind, and spirit, joy in your eyes, the fullness of your being for display to the world. And over time you begin to suffer and experience and begin to constrict, and then you only show a bit of yourself, only for later in life to wish to rediscover yourself and the fullness of your authenticity. So logic would perhaps tell you that the new moon should be the full moon in physical terms, that you can see it. And yet it is not. The new moon cannot be seen. It emerges from the darkness, sliver by sliver, into its fullness. That is the nature of nature. Violence is seen as an answer to some, the end all. As killings happen, as murders happen, the person who is committing these acts will then feel safer. Some perpetrate these crimes of violence for that which they experienced previously. They are in fear of their own survival for that which has then been perpetrated upon them in the past, and they seek out in life who to victimize. And that gives them a sense of protection, a very temporary feeling of self-power. This also happens at times of war. For if there is a person left on the other side, they vow to seek revenge upon you.
And even if there is no one left on that side, others who have seen the violence will then perhaps say, that was wrong, and wish to carry on the fight. One may say, how do you end violence? One may say, with love, but not without great loss. Physical loss shall happen. Some are not willing. Some are willing to die for a cause, but not willing to kill for one. And the reverse is true. And so, as you put all of these observations together, you must come to a logical conclusion that earthly life is but a school, where these dramatic and powerful experiences are playing out over and over again. The themes are recurring. And if in any story themes are recurring, then the intelligent reader will do the equations to understand the nature of the problem. And that nature of the problem is that there is no safety and not enough love. And you may have sufficient evidence, or more than sufficient evidence, to back up your claim and your feeling. And so you do your best to arm yourself throughout life, be it physically or emotionally. You see, there are emotional acts of violence that can leave deeper scars than the physical, as you are all well aware of. And so, during these times of violence, which have been always there, your guides have told you, like your wonderful writer in the Western world, Mr. Dickens, who wrote that these are the best of times and the worst of times. Throughout every society, at every time, and every era on any given day, you could say this statement to anyone, and they would say, yes, I can see how they are the best of times. There are many things that are wonderful in this day and age, and there are things that we wish to not have ever happened or should ever happen in a decent existence of peace. And if your question is why is there violence, then any time that you are cutting yourself off from peace, it is because you use all methods in your current state of awareness to make you feel at peace, safe. The feeling of safety, perhaps, can be very temporary. For how many walls will you build, locks will you put on your door, before your sense of calm is then disturbed again? That this battle between one side of the wall and another, one side of a border or another, that there is not enough space for a person to live, to coexist. You wish for tolerance in your world, religious tolerance. In that word carries within it a sense of disdain, that if one tolerates you, then you are safe. To be tolerated means that you are on the very edge of their patience, but they are tolerating you. And so religious tolerance and racial tolerance is not a very advanced stage of living. You seek oneness. You seek balance. Are volcanoes, thunderstorms, earthquakes, tsunamis, lightnings hitting the planet, are these in balance? You say yes, that is nature keeping itself in balance. But people should not be violent towards one another. While the spirit of nature exists as one, whether it is expressed through trees or birds or water or rock, they are not in the sense like yourselves, sentient beings. Their purpose is not to come here to evolve. Nature is here to surround you and to eternally work with you as a resource that can be resourced again and again and worked with so that you may thrive physically and spiritually. But they are not sentient beings, though the spirit flows through them as one. You yourselves as humans are, and so your purpose here in this focused reality, your life is what we refer to as a focused reality. We have said previously in channelings that in your dream time, the reality of those dreams, which is utterly convincing as reality, through your feelings of pleasure or pain, confusion or fear in your dreams, when you awaken, you are returned to this reality. Consider that this reality is where you are focused. When you leave your physical bodies, you shall be focused in another. We have channeled this information to you, and we shall, over and over again, so that you understand, and make it a part of your natural state of how you see things. Violence, one may say, that if there was no violence in your previous history, you would not have been true to what the nature was of those people. They were being true to themselves. You see, by their own state of development, though they were intelligent and had their own civilizations, they were very protective of their borders. Now you have many countries, many nations who have organized their own policies on how to integrate various people into their societies. This did not happen before. And so the nature of people is to protect their own experience of life. And so these groupings of tribes on planet Earth were bound to have conflicts. It was part of your path here to understand the sanctity of life. When the sanctity of life is observed by all beings, violence shall end.
Can you expand more on that statement? Because I was going to ask what we can do as a society to help evolve out of violence.
The nature of violence is that there are those who do not feel safe, and there are those groups of people who believe that their beliefs are what make them a group. This seems to be self-evident. Those who feel part of one belief system or religion or culture shall group themselves together and find an allegiance for it. For there are those, when they are under attack, or those who they refer to as their own people are under attack, feel very violent themselves. They are upset and hurt and angered. And it is about their own identity, you see, for there are many acts of violence that are occurring, perhaps even far worse in history, in which you did not feel this pain, for they were not what you refer to as your people. Perhaps there was an understanding and a sense of sadness and a wish for justice as you read your news about other cultures experiencing this, and so you turn the channel and you say, what a pity. But you are not angered. You will not take to the streets. You will not cut off your friends. You will not spend your day enraged by what happened or enraged by what you perceive as the lack of compassion of others. And that tribal nature perhaps is too primitive for you to then move forward. For if the purpose of all things of creation is to feel oneness, and we shall say this to you, whether you are creating a work of art, you are creating a relationship, you are working with the physical health of your body, you are seeking oneness. When you wish for peace, it means that you are at one with your environment and not in resistance of it. As you all surrender to your truest nature, which is oneness. And that as souls you have come here to expand upon your understanding of oneness, not to simply return to the love you felt as infants in all of its glory, and then to shame your adult and growing years. Not at all. You're not here to go back to it. You are coming to this planet, this plane of existence, to expand upon and to even grow deeper into oneness. For that is the state of homeostasis, of truth, of clarity, of purity, in its most unbiased form. And so many gurus and teachers have told you to love one another. And so it begins in the home. But then you must also then understand that those who are young must see that those who are older are coming together. That they are not seeing you get angry only over your own group getting harmed, but that you are against harm in general, that your love of life prevents you from feeling any kind of victory over another through violence. It shall take time. This plane exists as an area of focus for you. There is another part of you that is not here. That is observing the classroom. When you are in your highest self, you will have glimpses of this in your exalted experiences of spirituality, through your rituals and your exercises of stretching your spirit, through your healers and gurus and shamans, wizards and magicians, all sorts of those who wish for you to expand your awareness. Then you shall surrender more and more to this. And so the wars that end all wars are when the wars are ended within each and every one of you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Hi.
I'm always quite speechless after a transmission.
Merlin has been coming through for years. I think at your first channeling that you ever came to see me, and all those years ago, Merlin came through. And, you know, people, Merlin is an eternal being that has come through many cultures and many forms. And if anything I can offer to you is this, and those of you who understand this already knows, and those of you who are just coming into channeling who think that Merlin is in a storybook, you could say that almost about any prophet in any religion. You could challenge it and say, you don't believe it. So New Age and esoteric study or interest, whatever you want to call this thing that isn't your traditional way of thinking, has many figures that we have come to understand have come through in many cultures in various forms, and so we call him Merlin. He may have been called by another name, but he is certainly a wizard, and he comes through always in that form, in the English form that we know, because that's how we receive him, and the spirit guides know that, so they come in that form. And it is for us, it is, if anything, if there was a religion, you might say we are in the religion of magic and spirit guides and inclusivity. So, yes, Merlin exists, and that's how he comes through. He's been coming through for years, and hopefully next year we can finally release the book of magic of life that we channeled. I wanted to say this also, is listen to these channelings repeatedly. You know, you study things in school for 4, 6, and 8 years over and over and over again. And you pay for that information for the rest of your life. And it doesn't necessarily make you happy. You just have to memorize it. It's not really changing the way how you feel in your inner reality. Channeling is about that. And so these videos are here up on YouTube as a source of sharing. And if you listen to these messages over and over again, if you even write them out, why wouldn't you? You would do it if you were in school because you were getting a degree. So if the professor said, write these out, write this teaching out, you would do it. Why won't you do it in a channeling? What's going to give you more? This information has no dogma. It doesn't have some right or wrong. It doesn't tell you to worship anything. It doesn't tell you about any kind of hierarchy. It's always coming through with a sense of freedom and empowerment and just looking at it and love as the source of it all and understanding your, some people call it your reality creation. I think that those terms were good for then. Now we're coming into something much more powerful than create your own reality. Now we're at the stage of understanding that all that you experience is for you and always has been. And as we work with people over the years with high trauma, a lot of the work that we do, we sit here with all of this is what we love to experience, this magic, this physical magic, having our autumn tree and all the fun things that you guys see that we do. It's because everything is love and beauty and fun. And sometimes people say, this is your more serious podcast in the week when you channel. No, it's not more serious. When we're having fun, that's just as serious as this. It's just as serious. Serious just means that you're full out. So if I'm drawing a cube, I want to make sure all the lines are straight. I'm full out drawing that cube with straight lines and right angles. And then if I'm just finger painting, I'm full on finger painting. So all of those things, we do it with total surrender. And that's what we call living, is a total surrender to the magic that you're discovering and feeling and the peace that you're also surrendering to. So Merlin, for me, he's one of my guides and has always taught me about magic, I think for you also. Mm-hmm. And everything that's going on in the world, and you may be watching this 5 years from now, and the same things may be going on with different people playing those roles. So that means that we have to go to the underlying themes of it. And channeling really helps us get to the really fundamentals of how to live more peacefully within your own self. Because you can't bathe everybody else, but you got to take a shower yourself. And then you smell good and you look nice, and then you will be received better by others. That's just the way it is. I think it was Gandhi had said, if everyone just kept their front yard clean, the whole world would be clean.
Mm-hmm. Everybody will
imitate
that.
Yeah, because it was about that. So thank you guys for joining us for Midnight Madness. And let's say it in the fun way. It's Midnight Madness. Always talking in that Monster Mash voice. So smile, take a breath, receive that magic. When you sleep tonight, just imagine Merlin just waving his wand of beautiful gold dust all over you to revitalize your body, mind, and spirit. And blow out the candle and make a wish for peace for all beings. That's what I wish for all time. Anytime I blow out a candle, I just wish peace for all beings, because I know that that's what makes this idea of peace on earth. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you this Sunday again.
Bye, everybody. See you on Sunday.